So recently I did a couple of videos inspired by other YouTubers. I did Alana Davidson's 2023 Best Of, and I did Michelle Wong's All-Time Favorites. And today I'm doing something with Andreea Ali. So many people said they like this concept, and one person said, how about Andreea Ali? I love her. I have been following her, my credentials, since she had 35,000, and now she has 1.2 million. She's doing pretty good. Andreea has a very specific look, and she doesn't stray from where she puts her products. She'll, change the eye color up, the lip color up, but it's very, very specific, and it doesn't necessarily work for me. So this is going to be very interesting. I've never copied what she's done before. And she also is different than the other two ladies in that both Alana and Michelle have dry skin. Now, I don't remember her ever saying that she has oily skin, but I'm pretty sure she at least has an oily T-zone, and that's really different. For me, I can watch somebody who's in their 20s or 30s. If they have dry skin, what they're saying might be applicable to me, might work for me. But if they're around, I think Andreea might be 35 or so, with oily skin, not so much. Just like much of what Angie recommends doesn't work for me. So this is going to be interesting. Her video was new technology that will replace your old favorites. And I went shopping. Let us get started. I have my sunscreen on. She never mentioned sunscreen, but you can see I'm pretty shiny. She has loved this Milk primer. I think it's called Hydro Grip. I've seen a lot of people actually go nuts for this. I'm not a primer person. Yes, I did buy that Dior primer, which is not up here. It's mattifying, it's not drying, and it helps to get rid of all this shine. And I'm loving using that under some of my foundations. This I don't think is going to mattify me at all. And when I hear her speak about it, she says, you can feel your foundation gripping. And I can't tell you. The idea of that does not sound appealing to me. So we're going to see. I put this on my hand the other day, but I didn't give it the chance to fully dry. So I really don't know what to expect with this. I do feel like you got to give it some time to dry down. But I'm going to put it definitely around my nose. Maybe it'll help with, it's kind of reacting with my sunscreen, I can see. See how it's turning white? Because my sunscreen is now getting re-wetted, so to speak. But I always get rub off around my nose from my glasses, so definitely want to do that. And the nose can be a tricky place for me. But generally, foundation stays on me. And I'm getting a little bit of stinging. I'm imagining that there is some alcohol in here. I didn't look. And like I said, I put it on the other day, but I put it on my hand and not on my face. So, I'm going to give this a minute to set up, and then we're going to go in with foundation. All right, let's go back to foundation. I'll talk a little bit while this continues to dry and set up. She spoke about several foundations that she is loving right now, but the one that is being replaced is Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. It's a beautiful foundation, you guys. It looks beautiful on the skin. It's a little dressy for me, and I've mentioned this before about other foundations where it feels like this is something you wear on a special night out. Unfortunately for me, Armani does not make a tone. The undertone, depth of tone I can find, but undertone. I have two different colors in the Luminous Silk and two different colors in the Power Fabric. I was thinking I could mix them. The mix doesn't work, the individuals don't work. It's really hard for me. And I was thinking it's probably because Giorgio Armani is an Italian brand. So Mediterranean skin tones, it'll work better. And Andreea Ali is Romanian, but I think she has some Mediterranean in her. She does have an olive undertone, and I don't. So just some background. What she's loving right now is the Anastasia Beverly Hills, which she discovered late. I did try this when it came out, and I didn't like it. It was a little too shiny, if you can believe it. Too shiny for me? You know that's a problem. If you've been here before and you're familiar with my tastes. She mentioned a couple of things in her links, but the only other thing I remember her talking about was the NARS. So I have the NARS Radiant or Light Reflecting. I have 3 shades. NARS is also a company that doesn't do shades for me. When Andrea is her lightest, I say our tone is about the same, our depth of tone, but our undertone isn't. So I have Vienna, I think I have Santa Fe, and I have to get my magnifying glass, Deauville. Deauville's a little bit light, but I thought, well, I could mix it with one of these. This one, Santa Fe, I think is a little pink, and this one's a little yellow. I could probably mix these two together and get something, because this seems a little light too, but I'm going to do this because I hate mixing foundations, you guys. And she used it with a brush. I don't know what kind of brush, but it seemed like it was a little bit like a kabuki, so I thought I would do the 106 from BK Beauty, which is also kabuki-ish. And when I reviewed this line, I said, this is not my kind of thing, but it's a lot softer and maybe not as densely packed as other kabukis that I've tried. So there's the color. We'll see. And when I pick up, I like to spread out and then pick up evenly all over the brush. I think you just have a better opportunity of getting a good blend when you do that. And I'm not a huge brush person, honestly. I have a feeling, I've got a feeling. It's definitely too warm. And I'm just putting the littlest bit on. And of course brushes really take up a lot of your foundation. Maybe I should mix it. I think I am. Okay, so I'm going to put some of the Santa Fe. You know what, just for kicks, I'm just going to do the Santa Fe on the other side, and then we'll mix them together so you can see. And now I'm just mixing them together on the brush. Not the best way to mix 2 foundations. I think you should do it with your fingers or a tool, a Q-tip, the body of a Q-tip, something. And then over the area where I already put that one color. I do think this is a beautiful foundation, and recently I did a video called Goodbye Forever, and it was about products I'm just getting rid of forever. I'm just done. I need to clean and cull. And the foundation that I was saying goodbye to was the Kosas, which was super, super beautiful, but another situation where I couldn't get a good shade. I feel that this foundation looks a lot like the Kosas. I think that's kind of a theme. Okay, there's the NARS. I'm super shiny. We'll be doing powder later, but I just want this to set up a little bit. The next thing she spoke about was concealers. So, concealer-wise, she talked about the Tarte Shape Tape, which was iconic. It was so incredibly drying. It was horrible on me. And I think it was really bad on a lot of people. In your 20s, your teens, fine. Or if you have oily skin, so oily that you're oily under your eyes, fine. And she is now loving the Hourglass. I don't like the Hourglass. She mentioned in her links several others, the Huda, which I tried, but I got a bad color, and it's very hard for me to really give a fair review because I'm so distracted by the color. The Backstage from Dior, which I do own, and I feel that it's also a little dry. Great on the lids, not great under the eyes for me. And the Anastasia Beverly Hills, which I do have, also hard color, but we're going to do that. So this is the Magic Touch Concealer, and I have the shade 7 right there. I hope these undertones are going to be happy together. Oh, this looks like it's broken up. I haven't used it a lot since I bought this, but it looks like, what's going on here? I wonder if truly, I haven't used this very much, and it seems like it's empty, and the formula seems a little weird. Look here, doesn't it look like it's kind of broken up? And then I just mixed it around, and it's better. So this separates, which I've never seen with a concealer. And because it's a little thick, I find they can be a little harder to blend on older skin. I don't know if this, it has a click for the closure. Maybe it wasn't clipped, but I feel like a lot has evaporated from that. So by the end of the video, we will take a look and see if this is something that works for older skin. But for me, the biggest problem with this one is the colors are so unusual. Concealer done. Next she did contour, and the one to be replaced is the Huda Tantour, which I never got. I couldn't find a color. Also, it's intensely pigmented, and I think she even said it's more professional because it is a little more difficult. You have to be a little careful with this. And she mentioned several things that she likes, but the one that she used is the Westman Atelier. And I love this one as well. There's two ways you can go with this. You can do it like she did, which is just put it on the face, or you can pick it up with a brush, which I think probably an easier way to go about blending cream contours. And she did some around the nose, which I don't do very often, but this is the area of my nose that I don't really like. And she did some here and pulled it up here during her blend. And she did some jellies, not that she has any. I happen to really, really like this product myself. And just fade it down here so it doesn't look dirty. And then bring it up really gentle right here. I think personally contouring that area is really tough if you actually have something you need to hide, like I do. Again, she's 35, she doesn't really have jelly areas, and that's when contouring right there works. Okay, I just want to go in with a beauty blender and do a blend on everything because I don't know, I'm feeling a little too makeup-y. So let's talk about blush. In the cream category, she was talking about replacing the Glossier, which I never had the Glossier, and she mentioned the Rare Beauty, which I recently mentioned that in the video of, you know, Bye Bye Forever. It's very difficult to work with, and she even acknowledged that. I did keep it because the color is unique. I don't have anything like it, and that's the color Joy. The other ones I already threw away. She also spoke about this NARS product, which I do have, but it's not going to go with the other blush that I'm going to use, so I didn't get the color that she had. And she mentioned the NARS products, the liquid products, in Torrid, and I have it, I think, not in Torrid, in Dolce Vita, and I have it in Orgasm. And those are also a little bit difficult to use, but nowhere near as difficult as the Rare Beauty because they're liquids. You want to put them on your hand and then pick them up that way. So for blush, I have decided to go with just the powder. And I'm not going to do the powder until after I powder my face, but I'm not doing anything for cream. Okay, let's talk about powder. So powder, she mentioned the Givenchy Prism Lira, the one that is several colors. I got that in the pink for the video about Alana Davidson's Favorites of the Year, and I returned it. I didn't think it brightened me, and I thought it was a little bit drying on me. I've had this one, and this is the one with the green, the blue, the lilac, and I don't know, beige, for a long, long time, and I don't use it. You've never seen me use it, right? In her links, she also has this one from Westman Atelier. And what else does she have? She talked about the Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder. And she also talked about her beloved Laura Mercier, which I own and I dislike very strongly. I think it's not for people with dry skin. There's nothing elegant about it. So we're going to do this one, you guys. I haven't done it in such a long, long time. But because I feel my foundation color is just wrong for me, this might be good. This should lighten everything up and brighten everything up. And I got a really nice distribution there. So the green helps with redness and yeah, I don't know what else. I'm using the BK Beauty 102 brush. It's a nice fluffy brush. And I'm just going to load that puppy up. Shake off the excess. It wasn't too much. And just kind of pat. I feel like this is actually a great use for this powder. This is why I have too many powders, because sometimes there's a powder for a purpose, right? The purpose of this powder for me is to help correct a foundation color that is too warm or too something, but mainly warm. And I'm just going to put it all over the face. And then doing a kind of a dusting off at the same time, or I don't know what you would call this. It's mattifying me nicely. It's actually looking really good. And it's scoochy in a little bit. I think this actually looks really good, and it's helping with the tone of the foundation a little bit. So from me to you, this color for things that are too warm or too something, it doesn't work for you. Now she said that she liked to use this one under the eyes, but in the pink. And I'm going to use this one under the eyes because I actually do feel that this is a little bit brightening, where I didn't get the feeling that the Givenchy was. However, I think I got some creasing going on here. Right in the trough. And you know what? This is looking pretty good. It's set up very nicely. And the color looks fine with this foundation, but the foundation is really, really So mine is in Bubble, and I think I've tried this many times and I thought it's too drying, but now I think maybe I just picked up too much. So we're going to give this another try. If you only pick up the teeniest bit, probably not going to get a brightening effect. But I felt with the Givenchy, with the pink Givenchy, it actually made things look darker. So for blush, she was talking about the MAC blushes, how they were once a big thing. And she told a story about how in Europe, MAC was kind of a snobby place to go, but not in America. I have to disagree. I am older than her, so I remember when MAC opened, they were snotty in America. There was a store in the Beverly Center, and it was very, very unique, you guys. One, a standalone store for makeup was very unique at the time. Two, the way they displayed everything. So they had those displays with all these eyeshadows open. There was so much color coming at you. All the lipsticks were open. It was, you know, a treat. It was almost like a museum for makeup in a way, but I felt very unwelcome there. Like, you deem to come into MAC? My mother lived in the West Village at the time. I think it was the West Village. And there was a MAC not far from her. And it was the same thing. There was just this completely snotty thing. And whenever I did buy something, I felt kind of ashamed. Like, oh, let me just get this right away and leave because, you know, it's not good for you, for me to be there. Wrong in every single way. So, yeah, it wasn't just in Europe, in my opinion. So, what she spoke about was this Valentino blush. Now, when this came out, when Valentino came out in the United States, period, I think it was in this last year, and a lot of people, you know, did the reviews and did the foundation and this, that, and the other thing, and I just didn't want to. I can't really put my finger on why, but I felt in a way, I don't know if Valentino Beauty was a thing before, maybe it was in Europe, or maybe it was in Europe at one time and then closed down and came back again. I don't know if this is actually from Valentino or if it's a licensing fee that they've given to somebody else. But when you're licensing Valentino, or if you are Valentino and you're coming out with this, the name Valentino means you can charge high prices because it's couture, right? This, to me, is not elegant. I'm sorry. I know so many people say, oh, it's so beautiful, look at the packaging. And they have a lot of gimmicky packaging, like something with a chain and you can wear it over your neck. Seriously, you're gonna wear your makeup over your neck? I was shocked when I opened this because I bought some other things at the same time for this video, and they all had, when you open the box, they have that corrugated paper wrapped around the product itself. This one had nothing. I thought, well, that's kind of cheap. And then I picked it up. This is so light, you guys. It's like drugstore. So flimsy, so cheap. It kind of reminds me, like, I think Patrick Ta's packaging is pretty cheap. Kind of like that, but worse, because this is $58. Are you kidding? Now, right here, they have a brush. They're saying this is your blush brush. Of course it is. I tried it like this yesterday. No. Great, however, for the eyes. And this is the color. Now, I got this yesterday in the mail, and I was editing yesterday from 1 in the afternoon till 10 o'clock at night, and I just didn't have the time to do some swatch comparisons, but I'm going to. And I will put it somewhere, maybe Instagram, maybe I'll put it in the description box, maybe I'll put it in my community page, because I just cannot, in good faith, I can't keep a blush that is $58, that is so incredibly cheap packaging. And this is just a personal opinion. It's a little bit, well, not elegant. Let's just put it that way. But she loves this color, and she thinks the formula is beautiful. It is a creamy formula. I don't think the color is that unique, so I do want to do swatchy-watchies. Before I return it. It's going back. There's a little bit of sheen. I mean, that could be from the Givenchy because that has a little bit of sheen as well. And it could be from this. And this is in the color 02. You know what? It is a pretty formula. It is. What do you guys think of this color on me? It's hard to tell because the foundation's not quite right, but it's a pretty formula. It's pretty on the skin. I'll be pulling you in as soon as I get this hair out of my eyes, but I'm not sure that this color does anything for me, which doesn't surprise me because her color is so different than mine. So jury is out on this one. But the bar is really high when it's $58 for blush, which I'll do for Westman Atelier because the packaging is substantial and beautiful and elegant and real, where this feels like drugstore and it's kind of cheap looking. It's not elegant to me. Now I want to talk about highlighter because this is about where you would do it, right? She mentioned something cream, the Iconic London, which I never had. It is actually, I don't think it's a cream, it's more like a liquid, and it looks super, super blingy. I feel like I may have something like that, or may have something like that in the past, but in the present, she said the Merit. Now, she also mentioned in powder the Bobbi Brown, which again, very, very strong for me, and the Rare Beauty in Exhilarate, which I actually wanted to get anyway because I did take this Clé de Peau into Sephora and I just tested it to the new Charlotte Tilbury, which didn't leave me impressed at all, which is why you haven't seen me do anything on it. And the Rare Beauty, which was really, really pretty, but out of stock. So when I was buying for this video, it wasn't available, so I hit the notify me. And this thing came up saying, you're asking for notification for something that's in stock. And I thought, what? I guess I needed to refresh. It was in stock. I put it in my bag. I'm doing all my stuff. I don't know why I didn't hit buy that night, but I didn't. I might have been editing or something. And when I woke up in the morning, first thing, okay, I need to buy these, and it was out of stock again. So I did get the Merit. I will say that both of these have little bits of shimmer, glimmer in them. If that's a problem for you, it's not too densely packed, but it's there. So she put on the Rare Beauty and then she went over it with this, and it was very, very blingy. So I'm just going to do the Merit with my finger the same way that she did it. I mean, it's a cream. So I love this kind of color on me. I think she said it's transparent, but I don't think so because there are two colors. And my color will be listed below because I'm busy. Oh my God, I forgot to blend out my nose contour. Let's take a look at that because I was just going to, hello, put some of this on my nose. I think it just looks dirty. I'm not a huge fan of nose contour for me. I think it's hard to do. I'll put a little foundation right at the tip of the nose. I think for contouring, honestly, instead of working to find a good shade, something that looks natural on the daily and all that kind of stuff, the best way to contour your nose is, instead of going dark, to go light with a thin line like this. Do you see that or not? Now, of course, I want to blend it a little bit, but I feel that that is, for most women, I always like to put some right in here to brighten everything up. I think that is better, easier, more user-friendly than trying to contour your nose. I want to compare this to my very favorite Charlotte Tilbury. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury. It's so weird. It does not look gold like this on my face. And this is the Merit. There, now the Tilbury, I hadn't blended it in. So the Merit's lighter, for sure. I think I'm going to like this. Okay, we're getting closer. Now let's do some eyes, you guys. She got something from Hindash, and I guess I missed the application part for the eyes, and I didn't realize she just did that and one other thing from an eyeshadow. And I didn't get it because it was Beautylish, and I was doing everything at Sephora, and, shame on me. So two eyeshadow palettes that she spoke about were the Biba from Natasha Denona and the Soft Glam from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And she used a single color over the product that she put on her eyes from Hindash. So the color that she used all over was a very neutral looking brown, and there's nothing too neutral here. This is a little cool, this is a little warm. So I'm just going to do a little bit of each. And, it's interesting. I haven't used anything from Anastasia in eyeshadow in years. And I feel like that brand used to be the it brand from palettes. Natasha Denona was around, but she was doing the big palettes at that time. And I don't know what happened. I mean, I do know a little bit of what happened. Apparently her daughter took over the creative, and she started doing those, remember those really huge palettes with the crazy colors in them, like all purple with 40 shades or something. And it was packaged in a very kind of anime way, like they were going for a very, very young audience. And you lost me at hello. And then I think she just went with this right over the center of the lid. Her eyes, of course, are different than mine, and you can actually see her lid when her eyes are open, but that's okay. She kept the eyes very simple, and so am I. I do love the Biba palette, and I do love the Soft Glam palette. I think that they're actually very nice formula. I just feel like they haven't produced anything lately in the past couple of years, at least 2 years, that has inspired me, that's interested me. So I hope they get back to their roots. Now for the Michelle Wong video, I used the Tom Ford eyebrow stuff, and I felt like it was a little too chunky for me because I have some very crazy long, I was about to say Uncle Fester, but he didn't have any hair, but cartoon character hairs. And when the coating gets on that, I can't get them to like lay down. I don't need something that is laminated, but I don't like it to be out there. She likes this one. This is Legendary Brow. Look at that. If you are new here, you don't know that I've been using brow serum for a little while now, for, I don't know, 5 or 6 months, and I'm getting new brow hairs, but they're really teeny and not very dark. This wand is small enough for me to get those. So I do have to get a bigger magnification to see them, but first I'll do like one stroke here, because I don't want too much pigment, and then I look for these little hairs, which in this light, I'm having a hard time finding. For some reason I can find it better on this side. Oh, and also because my makeup is up here. This is going to take me a minute to do this because I have to be very, very careful, but I'll show you the after in a sec. I do like this. This, for me, and my needs are very, very specific because I have these teeny, teeny, teeny little hairs coming in that hardly have any color. But for me, this is working a lot more than Tom Ford. So let's go back to powder. She says she loves this. This is not the new formula, which I reviewed and I did not like, but it is the original. And she said it just makes you look poreless like nothing else. I think the Kosas makes me look poreless, but I don't have big pores, so I'm not a good judge. I have it in 2 colors. This is the 2, this is the 1. You can see how yellow this is, and I feel yellow enough, so I'm not going to do this one. I hardly ever use this anymore, you guys, but we're just going to put some on the cheeks, and the reason that it does this, takes your pores away kind of thing, is because there's wax in this powder. I think my pores already look smashing. I just want to pull you in. They look good on my cheeks. Really, really nice. I don't think I actually need this, but I am seeing a shine come in. And that wax kind of fills up those pores. I don't know where my camera stopped. I felt my cheeks looked beautiful anyway from the Givenchy powder. I really, really did. But just putting a little bit here and a little bit here, and it is absolutely beautiful. I think when I was using this, which is years ago, way before this channel, I was probably using too much. And I think the way to use this is in spots. I don't think you want to use it all over your face. I think more what I did today, like the Givenchy is setting everything up, and then this is just a couple of areas. And I wouldn't use it under the eyes, but just a little bit in certain areas, and it is really, really nice. Now for mascara, she spoke about the YSL Lash Clash, or Crash? Clash. And I did see it in store, and I did take a look at the wand, and I just thought, I can't do it. I can't buy yet another mascara. Also, usually their mascaras are really scented, and I don't want perfume by my eyes. Are you kidding? I just don't understand the logic behind that. She also said that this mascara, you have to have either big eyes or long lashes, or both. She said, my eyes are small, but I have long lashes. I wouldn't say that my lashes are particularly long, and my eyes are definitely not big. So recently I got the Westman Atelier kit with the mascara and the new pod set, and it's the only place to get those pods, and it also came with an eyeliner. And I love those pods, and I love this mascara. They give a really full look. I learned this from her, by the way, where you turn your hand like this as you go through your lashes, which doesn't that make sense? Because if you're just doing like that, the mascara's gone. You have to turn your wand, so why not turn the wand as you're going through the lashes? Okay, it's coming together. Let's see what else we have. Now, she also did some bronzer, but the bronzer, she was saying, nah, no longer cool, hip, old technology is the Hoola. And I have to agree, I don't think the powder or the colors are very good on the Hoola. And I think I've owned it once but never used it. And she recommends Valentino. And honestly, I just couldn't do 2 Valentino products. I think they're obnoxiously priced. So we're skipping a bronzer. I don't think I need it, especially since my foundation is so warm. So we're going to go to lip products. I don't remember what she said was the old one, and this is how we're going to make it more modern. And she's listed a million, it seems to me, lip products. So this is what I chose, you guys. She did a lip liner. I'm not big on lip liners. And then she chose this, which I have in another color. This, oh, in fact, wait a minute. This is, I believe, American Woman, and this is, no, that's Tease Me. So this is Tease Me, the one I have, and this is American Woman, the one that she spoke about for the video. So we're going to put this on. I love Tease Me. These are matte. They go on creamy, and very quickly they set up. Look at that. I just put it on and I just bent over to get this. I mean, nothing has passed, and this is on. I just didn't want to get it on my shirt, so I thought I'd clean. Interesting. So these are long-lasting. If you eat a salad with an oil dressing, or if you have coffee with cream or half and half, it's going to come off, but long-lasting. What do you think of this color on me? But we're not done, because she spoke about these. These are the Squeaky Clean Balms, I think it's called, from Westman Atelier. And I have 2. Both of them are very light, like Shoo Shoo and something else. And she just put this on the center. I'm perfectly fine with having a matte lip. But these balms are so comfortable. They smell like lemon, which makes me extraordinarily happy for reasons I can't explain. And they feel truly nourishing. And that was her video of new technology, new kinds of products that can replace your old favorites. All right, so let's go over it from the very beginning. What I bought, what I think, how does this work for women who are either more mature or for women who have dry skin. Let's start with the primer. It made my face sting. I have a feeling there's alcohol in this, something that women with dry skin do not want. I don't think anybody should use alcohol on their skin, that it can disrupt your lipids in your barrier, which isn't good. And I don't really have a need for it. So for me, this is just going back. I bought the small one because I knew it was going to go back. I don't need it. And I can't really say if it will work for you if you have oily skin. I'm not getting a tightening feeling from it, so that's something. But for me, I don't need it. I don't like that stinging. The foundation. NARS just doesn't do a color for me. I'm not feeling super confident with the colors that I have on my face. I feel like this NARS and the Kosas and the Hourglass foundation that came out later in the year all are very, very, very similar. If that's a look that you like, go to the brand that makes a color for you. I like that look. I like the formula of all 3 of them, but none of them, remarkably, make a good color for me. So I was thinking, I don't know, is this going to go in my Goodbye Forever pile? Because the Kosas is already going in the pile. One of them has to. I can't keep, between the 2 of them, 6 bottles of foundation. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. Comfortable on dry skin, though. There's no problem with that at all. Looks beautiful, and yeah, no discrepancies. Now for the concealer, all the concealers that she mentioned, the Huda, as I said, because I got a color that was so wrong, I was too distracted to be able to make a good judgment on whether or not it was a good concealer for my under eyes, which have color, they're dark, and they're old. And this, you didn't see me, but I already went over it with a beauty blender under my eyes to try to put a little more hydration back there. This is not good under the eyes, and it's weird how I've only used it a handful of times and there's not much. You saw what happened when I applied it. This is going in the goodbye forever. It's going in the trash. I think everything else she mentioned also for dry skin or mature skin, if you actually have real lines and wrinkles and not these teeny weeny little things. The Dior Backstage, I liked it when I first got it, but no, it's just too drying. It's great on the eyelids for a primer. The Hourglass, no. And the other one was, yes, the Anastasia, no. So, no, in this case, she's not hitting the mark for older women. So, goodbye to this. The Westman Atelier, I think this is fine for people with drier skin or older skin. I don't know how it would work with oily skin, but I think she has oily skin and she loves it. I think it's a beautiful product. I think there's only 2 colors, but the colors are just good, you know? That is a good color. It's quite neutral, but it's not gray. I like this product a lot. For blush, so I didn't do a cream blush. I just did the powder blush. I can say the YSL that she selected in a color that I don't have, it works great with older skin. It works great with drier skin. There's not a problem with that. And I will say, this formula is fine for drier skin. It is fine for older skin. This thing keeps on falling out. It's making me nuts. This packaging is cheap. This, are you kidding me? You can't put blush on with this. I did do it yesterday just to see, well, maybe I'm wrong. And it just leaves a line. You need a big brush so you can really blend and you don't see where exactly the blush starts. This is fine for eyes, you know, but not for blush. The formula does feel unique. It does feel very smooth, almost creamy, and I think there's a little bit of sheen in it, which I really appreciate. But it's $58 and I just can't get over it. If you have a budget where $58 for blush isn't a problem for you, it's a really, really good formula. Let's put it that way. For me, I just feel like this is so not elegant. I'm sorry. It's a little bit on the vulgar side, and it's so cheap feeling. It doesn't feel... Pick up a Westman Atelier product. Hello. Hello. I just... And I don't know about the color. I appreciate it if you let me know, is this color really doing anything for me? So I'm on the fence about this one, but as far as older skin or drier skin, absolutely, if you're into it, check it out. The powders. So the powders are powders that I already had. I didn't buy it. I've had this for a long, long time, and I haven't used it in a long, long time. It's in a box here where I keep the stuff I don't use in a long, long time. But because I already bought and returned the pink, I thought, well, I'll just do this. And this, in conjunction with this brush, is a different kind of application than I've ever tried with this. And it really made the skin look so, so pretty. And this particular color story helps with... My skin was feeling so incredibly warm, and it helped to cool it down a little bit. So, I'm bringing this back out. It's not something I'm going to use every day because it does bring a coolness, and I don't necessarily need that very often. But this is one of those instances why it makes sense to me to have a lot of different powders to do different things. Color correcting, and as a powder, it looked very, very pretty on the skin. And for the Charlotte Tilbury's, which again I haven't used, I don't know that you've ever seen me use these on camera. I think I found the best application. Go ahead and do this first, or on the day-to-day it would probably be the By Terry for me. And then when the shine comes back 15 minutes later, pop a little bit right here. It does make you look poreless. And you know what, you guys? I've been shooting for a long time. I'm redoing my outro, and I powdered this a while ago, and I'm still not getting sheen. So thank you for reminding me about these 2 powder products that I already own that are really, really good. Now the Westman Atelier powder, she didn't mention in the video, but it was linked below. And I would say if you're looking for a pink powder for under the eyes, skip the Givenchy. I do find it to be very drying. And try this color Bubble in the Westman Atelier. For the eyeshadow palettes, it really doesn't matter how old you are, if your skin is dry or not. I'm glad to be reminded of the Soft Glam palette, and I hope that Anastasia gets it together. For the eyebrows, I love this. This is probably my #1 product from this video that I bought for this video. I love this. It might be just for me in particular because I have all these teeny, weeny little hairs that are brand new that don't have very much color to them. I love. Yes, doesn't matter what kind of skin you have. Mascara, again, I didn't use any of the mascaras that she spoke about. YSL usually has scent in their mascaras, which is a no for me, but it doesn't matter how old you are, you know, so, or if your skin is dry or not. For the lip colors, this is a matte, it goes on creamy, it can be drying. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, it can be drying. But I like it so much that I kind of don't care because I love the color that I got. The first color, Tease Me, love it so much. It just makes me happy. The color that I bought for this video is American Woman. I think it's a decent color. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or not, but it is drying. You got to be prepared for that. And then you put this, the Squeaky Clean, over it. I love this. I've always loved this. I love the scent. I love the way it feels nourishing. I totally agree with her on that. And I think the last thing that I bought for the video is the Merit highlighter, which I have to check in another room to see, is it too light for me? Does it really look like my skin with just a beautiful glow on it? But I think it's a beautiful product. It does have teeny, teeny little bits of sparkle. And I have got to wrap it up. It's getting late, it's getting dark, and I want to edit this and get it up. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Let me know if you want me to continue with this series. I was just going to do a couple for the end of the year, but so many people said they liked it. They like to see how it works from one skin type to another skin type. And I'm happy to do another one, but you have to tell me who you want me to do it with, for. I'm not doing it with somebody, but whose makeup you want me to try on to see how it works on my skin type. And I'll do it. And that is going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. And until we meet again, I'm wishing you good health.